I've always played guitar, as a kind of a hobby, and I've always kind of dabbled with, production. But honestly, it was more of a in terms of two reasons really. One is in this business, it's so up and down. When the industry's not doing well, everybody gets affected. So you ultimately you try to find other hats to wear, and a couple other hats that I wear commonly are songwriting hats and production hats. And the cool thing about that is that they feed on each other. And if you spend more time producing and not drumming, when you go back to drumming, it makes your drumming better. You know, and being a drummer makes my producing better. It's like so. There's a great symbiotic relationship between playing and producing, and I love having a little bit of a balance going on in my life because it keeps it fresh. Keeps drumming fresh because I just got done with a couple weeks of producing where I didn't really touch the drums. I was instructing somebody else. And this week I got back into drumming, and I was like, oh, wow, man, it's like a vacation. This is great, because it's not necessarily so. I got one task at hand when I'm on a drum session. It's just that I want to put down a great track. When you're producing, it's like, all right, we got to work with drums, vocals, song, arrangement, people, engineers, everything. There's a huge amount of responsibility. So I originally kind of got into that to put on other hats as well as uh, there's this other thing that happens after you've played a couple hundred sessions. You find that creatively, you find yourself drying up, and honestly, if any other drummers are listening to this, uh, it's like the grass is always greener. But when you've played as many sessions, you start to realize that there's only a few things that people really want. 2 and 4 on the backbeats. They don't want any crazy Dave Weckl polyrhythm. In fact, if I've done a couple thousand sessions in my career, I think maybe 2 times in all those sessions have I ever been asked to do some crazy fusion thing. And it's funny because you spend a lot of time in your formative years working on that stuff. Oh yeah, check this out. But when you get in a session, no, sir, we need just 2 and 4 and just keep it steady. Which is kind of ironic, but that's the reality of actually making music. You spend most of your time, most of your money is made on the simplest of things, and that gets frustrating after a while because creatively, gosh, it's frustrating. You start to pull your hair out. And there comes a point, and I've noticed this in a lot of other musicians, that you can fight it so long creatively. You're like, no, how about try this? And you realize ultimately what most producers want are just the same beats, the same kind of approaches with little variations. That you look for other ways of getting your creative fix. And producing is awesome because then you're in the driver's seat and you can say, yeah, let's do something a little more crazy over here. Let's do this. Maybe different chord progression, for God's sake. Let's try something else. But I think that's essentially why I kind of got into the production thing. Producing is really about relationships and appeasing people and trying to get people to maybe push the envelope a little bit, but still be happy doing it. Take them a little bit out of their comfort zone, but still make them comfortable. It's a really fine line. I'm a novice producer. I'll be the first to admit that. But people like Brown Bannister to me is like he's the genius at that. He is the most amazing diplomat in action, and I think the best producers in this world are the best diplomats. I mean, literally, I think Brown Bannister could fire you from a session and tell you that you never need to be playing your instrument again. And the way he could do it, you'd walk away feeling, yes, I suck. And I'm never going to play again, but I feel great about it. He's that good, Me, I'm not that good at being a diplomat. So producing, I think, has a lot to do with being able to handle relationships well. A&R people, artists, players, and everybody in between, So